Hello, Marc, standing in place. Episode 26. This is 26 of these. That means I have now consistently recorded one of these every Tuesday night for the last half a year. Which means we've been dealing with COVID for more than half a year because I didn't start doing this until a couple weeks in, at least. Wow. November 28th, 29th. November? I wish it was November. How about September 29th, 2020? We just had the first presidential debate. And I don't want to spend much time talking about that on here. But I do, wow. I am embarrassed that this is where our country's at. That 2 hours is how the next potential, the current leader and the next potential option interact with a moderator that had to raise his voice. Like the dude had to raise his voice, which like for me is kind of like a trigger if I end up in a situation. A trigger, that word gets overused like crazy. But yeah, it pisses me off if people start raising their voice. I try very hard if I have to argue or debate a point with somebody. I try not to get emotional, raise my voice, do those tactics, because that just, to me, becomes like an intimidating thing. And for me, I can be perceived as intimidating. Not like, oh, I'm this big tough guy. But I'm like a 200-pound dude that if I start acting aggressively, that could potentially make someone very uncomfortable. So I also find that it's not effective. It just, if I escalate, then the other person escalates, and it just creates a bad situation. So to see that a moderator for presidential debate was having to raise his voice to the current president to try and get the conversation to continue is fucking absurd. Wow. And I'm not going to use this platform to like preach or share necessarily my political views. I think if you know me at all, if you've watched these videos, if you've interacted with me, you probably know where I'm headed with this election, or at least which way I'm going to vote. I will make the comment that one takeaway from that interaction was that if you could look at it from a neutral position and look at these two humans, one gave indications that they at least would try to help people, and one seem to only give clear indications that they want to show that they're the best and can make a lot of money, and I think that alone would give a person a reason to vote one way or the other. Do what you do. It's your right. It's your opinion, and you're absolutely welcome to have that. And I sure as hell am not somebody that knows everything. But wow, that was painful. Speaking of painful, I wanted to use this time to share. I'm wearing the shirt that I earned from this weekend. So I did my first triathlon. My dear lady, the woman that I have chosen to spend my life with, or at least from the age that we got together, she likes doing triathlons, and I don't freaking get it. So this year, she was signed up to do a whole bunch of stuff. which meant that was going to be the majority of the summer, is Dear Lady training. And I guess I want to support her. I want to participate in some of this. So I signed up for 4 triathlons this year, which I have no interest in doing triathlons. I like riding bikes. I've learned to like running. I like being in the mountains and doing stuff like that. But spending a summer training so that I can go to a park with a couple thousand people and see who can swim, bike, run the best, no, that's not for me. I'd rather root her on. But because the whole summer was going to be training, I thought, hell, this is a good one to give it a shot. So I signed up for 4. 2 sprints and 2 fulls. I'm not getting into Ironman, half Ironman, or any of that kind of territory. No, thank you. Well, thanks to COVID, the reason that we're doing these videos, almost everything got canceled. But these guys, Breakaway Events, I think it's Breakaway Events, have managed to put on a couple. And they put one on this weekend. The last call triathlon, which is sprint triathlon, which I was signed up for. And we went and we did. And I think that now gives me the ability to legitimately talk more shit about this ridiculous ass sport, because I have now confirmed triathlons are absurd. And they have no basis in reality. In what situation would this combination of events become a thing? Like there's duathlons, I think it's called duath or biathlon, where people like ski and shoot guns. That makes sense because at some point in time, and some people currently, they'll ski to like hunt stuff and then have to shoot. So like ski, heart rate up. That makes it difficult to shoot accurately. It makes sense that this is a sport, that this is something that people want to develop a skill for. Well, a swim, bike, run. This is not a set of tasks that would ever find each other in sequence. Unless you're like escaping from Alcatraz in current state, San Francisco, where you like swim to a bike path and then like mug somebody for their like B-cycle, their like rental bike, and then like maybe it's an electric rental bike, then the battery dies and you continue running. Like it's escape from the cops in the most awkward set of circumstances ever athlon event. That's the only circumstance I could think of where you would have to swim, bike, run ever in a normal world. Now I get that it's super difficult and people like to do things that are super difficult. People like to do crossword puzzles blindfolded, and that's incredibly difficult. I don't know that that's true, but you have to agree that would be incredibly difficult. That would be really freaking hard. Crossword puzzles blindfolded. I wonder how would you even do that? Somebody would have to read you the clues, and then you'd have to completely guess to what boxes to put the words in? I don't know. I'm catching myself going down this thought process now. I need to focus. Because I got a limited battery on this camera. So triathlon. Last call triathlon. I went and did it. Yay. Let me describe to you how this freaking thing goes. And let me at least preface this by... So this is a sprint. This was, I think it was like a half-mile swim. Bike was like 10 miles. And then you had to run like 3 miles. And I understand that for some people that's very difficult. For me, a year ago, doing stuff like that, like running 3 miles would be difficult. I think it was only last year that I started being able to run that distance. So that's cool. I get it. If you're trying to challenge yourself, maybe you're somebody that didn't have physical fitness, or you're trying to get stronger. Like for me, doing this helped drive my physical fitness, which I get to benefit in other activities, like go do other outdoor stuff, and I get to feel better about it. I get it, and I understand why you sign up, and I understand the challenge, and I completely support you, and I want you to keep doing it. Hence the person that I married doing this, and I completely support her doing it. Fantastic. This is what you dig. It's still fucking nuts. People take this thing way too seriously. the distances for what they are compared to what some people are doing, like Ironman, this like 100+ mile bike ride and 2.5 mile swim or something. They run a marathon. Holy crap! You better take that seriously, or you're gonna die. This one, there's people showing up with like, I gotta believe $10,000-$15,000 bicycles with carbon aero discs on it, wearing like aerodynamic helmets with goggles attached to them, and like, dude, you're riding on a bike path. What? This is insane. And I know a little bit about those bikes now. I know they're uncomfortable as hell. They go real fast in a straight line, and they're terrifying to go around a corner on. And they're not necessary. Why don't you challenge yourself? If you're at a level where you've got a bike like that, and you're super, super crazy fit, challenge yourself and ride a beach cruiser. I'd like to see that. Tri-bars on a beach cruiser. For the bike people out there that know what the fuck I'm talking about, somebody build it, please, and tag me, send something, let me know when you did it. I want to see I want to see lay down bars on a beach cruiser. So we're talking single speed cruiser brake. I want fenders. There's got to be fenders on that thing. And go do a try, because that'd be freaking awesome. In fact, do this one next year, because I want to give a lot of props to these guys. They ran an event during COVID that I felt safe at. Everybody's outside. There's plenty of space. Masks when they were appropriate. And the organizers were good. You knew where to go. I came out to do the run, didn't know where to go. There's plenty of volunteers to say, go over here. It was awesome. So thank you. Thank you, Breakaway Athletics Events. I forget the complete title. You did awesome. So let me describe how this thing goes. We got past this period, people that are too serious, and boof. The swim. So the way that the swim starts is you wade into water, which on this day was in the 60s. It was like 67 degrees or something, which sounds amazing, right? Because like hanging out 67-degree weather is fantastic. Swimming in 67-degree water, not as fantastic. And of course, I'm new to this stuff. I got a wetsuit that has no arms, right? It's a sleeveless wetsuit, because I'm super buff and I want to show everybody. No, not the case. It's because it's cheaper, and I figured it was going to be warm when we do this stuff. The air temperature was like in the 40s or low 50s or something. So way cold, you're standing on a beach barefoot, wearing a wetsuit with a swim cap. You got rubber skin, you got a rubber hat, you got goggles on. We're looking like a bunch of hairless Dr. Seuss characters. It's ridiculous. Just a bunch of rubber people shaped all sorts of different ways, running around with googly eyes and fluorescent hats. And the first thing you do is you wade into a bunch of muck, because there's no water in the lake right now. You're shin deep in goop that is just the decomposing everything that once lived in the lake. And then there are 3, 2, 1, go! And you trudge. You slowly trudge forward until the water's deep enough to start swimming. Which, my experience, and this is the first time I swam in open water, which probably wasn't the smartest thing. You had to swim out 2 buoys and then hang a right and then go, I think it was 2 buoys and then hang another right, and you went back up the beach. I did awesome out to that first buoy. I impressed myself. I had like good stroke. I even like kind of kept up with some people, like to the point I saw like a leg. I'm like, oh no, I'm still with this person. I gotta go to the right a little bit. Yeah, fantastic. And then my body cooled off. My face was cold. All that cold water was going in a wetsuit. And I turned. Oh, and it was windy, super windy. I didn't tell you that. There's white caps. There's white caps on the lake. And I started swimming in this direction. I realized it's way harder. And I'm getting seasick in the water because it's going like this, and then you can't see because there's white cap. And I was getting tired. I was getting gassed out, I guess, a little bit. Probably nerves, adrenaline dump, all that kind of stuff. Because I know I can swim the distance. So then I go on my back, and I'm like, kick, kick, kick. Swim on my back. And I realize all my practice swimming on my back has been in a pool that has a ceiling that has lines on it that I could follow. You know what doesn't have lines on a ceiling? State park, random lake in Colorado. Yeah, so I'm going completely crooked. I'm going inside. I'm not going the right direction for the buoy, so I turn over and I start swimming normal again, and I realize I got to go a different direction to go around the buoy proper. But now I'm getting more tired, so I'm doing weird like leg kicky, swimming like a mermaid, not like a mermaid. I never swam like a mermaid. Swimming like a person that doesn't know how to swim. Just to stay afloat and keep moving forward. My goggles fogged up. I missed out on, like, lost my group. I had an orange hat on. I missed my group. Like, I didn't see where they were anymore. Now there's, like, yellow hats and pink hats coming my way. Not good. Not a good experience at all. Finally found my way in, and again, trudging through the muck. Just walking back up the beach. This is me racing. Eric Marc, racing in Last Call Triathlon. My race is trudging through muck, slowly, staring at the beach, going, oh man, I'm really cold. This is absurd. I thought I was going to drown. I made it. I made it up the beach, and the 3 people that were watching had bells, and they went cling, 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 and I felt like a real cool guy. Ripped my wetsuit off, like you see in like Kona on TV. I did that, so I felt real cool for a moment. Then you transition. And transition is when you go, in this case, from swimming to biking. It's not riding, because a lot of these people don't know how to ride. They know how to bike. They know how to go fast in a straight line. They got crazy expensive bikes that are super aero that they don't know how to handle. But wow, they fly in a straight line. I got like a normal road bike. I know how to go around a corner on it. I know how to ride off a curb and lie on back wheel first on it. That battery's going to die. Hopefully it makes it. Shoot. Hold on one second. Will it keep running? I think it'll keep running. I got it plugged in now. Let's see what happens. I know how to ride a bike. I know how to ride off a curb and land back wheel first, which I can tell you a lot of people riding these bikes probably cannot put together. Yeah, super amazing bike rider guy. Woo, I could do a little bit of a wheelie. So yeah, you transition, which means you get yourself out of a wetsuit, and then you've already got like this pair of shorts on that has a chamois in it, and you can just get on a bike. I didn't just get on a bike because I wanted to have some fun with this, so I put on a pair of red short shorts and a yellow polo shirt because in my current state of hair and beard, I thought it would have been fun to do my little Forrest Gump. I have a Bubba Gump hat for this event because it's a sprint try and it should be fun. So while I'm getting ready, I'm watching people like blaze through the transition. Like they've got their shoes already attached to their bike, which is absurd. So they're running barefoot across concrete, pushing a bike. That's a wheeled machine that you can use to transport yourself. They're pushing this thing with feet attached to it. Their shoes attached to the bike already, which is ridiculous as a skateboarder attaching their shoes to a skateboard and then walking into a skate park, jumping into their shoes and skating ramps. That doesn't make any sense at all. Or somebody like a rock climber taking their shoes and jamming their shoe into like a crack on a wall and then climbing up to it to stick their foot in it to make their next move as they climb. That's what people are doing. Their shoes are already attached to their bike, and they're pushing their bike without shoes on their feet out this gate, and then they stick their feet in and try and take off as fast as possible, and definitely saw people laying on their ass. Definitely saw people laying on their ass because they didn't take the time to put shoes on before they get in a bike. Like, it's not weird enough that you're riding a bike attached to it, right? Clipless is a weird thing. And I know all the reasons why you would do it, and I do it sometimes. I do it on a road bike. I'm starting to do it on a mountain bike a little bit. I get it, but I take the time to put my shoe on comfortably, and then I click, click, and I pedal away, and all's good. Here's another thing. Some other people put their shoes on and ran with them, but some of these people have the hardcore clippy shoes where it's just like a big cleat sticking out in the bottom, and you run like with your toes up in the air, and I watch people eat crap that way too, laying on their butt on a pavement because they're trying to run in like poorly shaped plastic ice skates. Did I mention it's a sprint try? and you shouldn't take it so damn seriously. Have fun. I got mountain bike shoes. You know what? They got rubber soles. I can run, I guess. I didn't. I kind of did like a hoppy jog thing to try and go quickly-ish. And it worked. Here's another thing. One, it was so cold, my hands weren't working right. So I have my beautiful hair tied up in a different position than I could for my helmet. I couldn't take the hair tie out of my hair. My hands were so numb. This numbness also translated to the beginning of the bike ride. I couldn't shift gears because my hands weren't working right. Just like fighting, trying to get my fingers to move to shift the gears. My brain's not completely there. Like, it was bad, like 3-4 miles until I warmed up and could actually start riding. And then it started being fun. So then I start chasing people down. Then I start realizing how bad some of these people are and how serious they are on these tri-bikes. Just flying past you in a straight line. And then you see them coming up to a corner and they're just like completely braked out, trying to turn, but you could tell they're all awkward. They can't hold a straight line, like a consistent line around a corner. I think at one point I passed like 3 people in a corner that's like the equivalent of like 2 parking spots in a parking lot. Like, not far. And then they killed me on a straight line. But if they learned a corner, it'd be even faster. It'd be amazing. Also, there was like a little gravel patch, and I saw people freaking out over like 6 feet of gravel, which you just stand up and paddle, or don't stand up and paddle. The bike's probably going to be okay. So yeah, whatever. This is the chaos going on for the bike. So you bike, you don't ride. You bike, and in this case we have to do 2 laps of the same thing, and you come in, and you get to transition again. Woo! Second transition in a day. Life is good. And you transition to the run. Nice. Now my Forrest Gump outfit works. Ooh, I was going to try and do this. I'll put the picture here. Here's a picture of the way I dressed for the run. If that didn't work, I apologize for the weird hand gesture. So yeah, I put my hat on, get my helmet off, my clippy shoes off, and go for a run. Didn't know where to go. Still kind of hazy because I think of the cold. And nice volunteer said, hey, go this way. So rock and roll. I went that way, and I go about my business, and I'm talking to people. I passed handful of people passed me. No worries, man. If they passed me, it's, hey, have a good run, good luck, have fun. Same thing with people like, I'm like, hey, I'm coming up on your side, have a good one, you know. And some people responded. There were some other people having fun in the event. Imagine that. And some people are wearing spandex unitards with their name written across their ass, taking life way too seriously as they clump, run past me, not saying hey, not saying hello, not saying where they're at, not saying thanks when I say have a good run, which I find very irritating, but whatever. I sent you the positive vibes, so that's all I can do. I can't fix everything. Yeah, so unitards with their name on their ass, which I don't know. I guess that's if they pass out, they're going to pass out face down, so then it's going to be easier to identify them because the name is across a tuchus. That's probably the reason, because I don't know why they wouldn't have the name on the front. Why is the name on the back? Butt names. Man. So I don't understand that. Is it just so you know who, you know, if you got passed, you know who you got passed by because this is me. See that name? I am strong, and I wear a unitard. That's some flashy outfits, man. People like to dress up for this thing. I wore a trucker hat and a polo shirt. Oh well. So yeah, you do the run. In this case, part of it ended up being dirt, so that was sweet. I was stoked on that. Do a little trail run, then you're back on like a bike path. And then you come into the end, they rip this little chip thing off your ankle. They hand you the tiniest bottle of water you ever had, but it's still a very nice gesture. And you get a medal. I got a medal for my first triathlon. It says last call. Very proud. And that's how it goes. You end up in this transition area one last time. There's nobody there. There's just people like kind of packing their crap up. And, you know, wear masks. That's weird because it's COVID. So you're outside with a face mask on and a wetsuit at times. Yeah. And you pack up your stuff. You go cool. You stretch a little bit. Add some food. interesting choice on a food. They had some vegan corned beef, which I find very questionable. I don't like it when veggies pretend to be meat. That's very strange to me. Veggies are wonderful. Veggies impersonating meat. I don't get that. This stuff, I actually didn't think it was the worst tasting thing, but it's definitely just spices bound together by something. And then they put it on a bagel with cheese that might or might not have been cheese. And I was really freaking hungry, so whatever. I appreciate that it was there. Don't know that it would have been my first choice, but I do appreciate that it was there, so thank you. Yeah, and you go home and see how sore you are. I was pretty sore. So triathlons are freaking absurd. That's where that thought process kind of ends. And yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do 4 of these things next year because COVID means that I now have to redeem myself. This year, this is going to be, I'll start closing this out because I've run pretty long. This year I had 4 goals. I was going to compete in 2 full triathlons, one off-road, one on-road. I wanted to get up for New Talent Night at Comedy Works, and I wanted to enter the New Faces contest. Because COVID, there's no New Faces contest, and neither of those bigger triathlons occurred. I did manage to get up for New Faces before this started, and I did manage to do 1 sprint triathlon, so my introduction to tries. And that's going to have to be the accomplishment. In lieu of stand-up, I'm doing these. I hope this helps because mics are starting to come back and we're getting a better handle on COVID, so I'm going to have to go do this in front of people again. And the athletic stuff's going to come, so I got to keep training. So 2021, let's reset those goals, and we'll say that we did the best we could this year, and I'm not going to stop. So I hope you guys are doing the same. Whatever goals you have or had that might have gotten screwed up, keep pushing. Find a way to practice. Find a way to exercise, whatever that is. Create and crush it next year. And vote. Definitely vote. Watch debates. Read stuff. Learn. And make a decision on more than a clickbait YouTube video or clip on Instagram or Twitter. Learn some stuff and think about how that benefits the population, the world, the planet, yourself, and make the best decision you can. That's my time. It's way more time than I'd usually take, but thank you very much for tuning in, and I think we'll see you next week. Half a year down. Let's keep rolling. All right. See ya. Have a good night.